What's going on, you guys? This is Aaron from Departures Capital Analysis, and welcome to this week's video. My apologies, guys. I didn't get the video out on Wednesday. Some scheduling issues and a whole ton of work with Departures Capital in general. We're a little bit late, but anyways, we're here with the video, and this week's video is about Wonderfi, and I thought it was about time that I make an update, as the stock has pulled back substantially, but they just released some very promising news, and I kind of want to just give my opinion on everything that's going on in the market, specifically relating to Wonderfi, where I think we go from here. Also, for full disclosure details, this is not a sponsored video. We are done our contract with Wonderfi. We've made a bunch of awesome videos. Still looking to renew, but we'll see what happens. If they decide to, that'd be amazing, because I'd love to continue to provide you guys with updates. Regardless, I will provide you guys with my own updates, even if it's unsponsored. I'd love to get Ben back on, but that's in their hands now. And I have spoke with the company multiple times. Also, for full disclosure details, I do own quite a large position in Wonderfi, roughly 180,000 shares. So you can check that in the description below as well. It's all there. I've only increased my position as the stock has continued to drop. So around 180, and then the floor around, hopefully the floor around 130. I added quite a few shares. So anyways, guys, let's get into the video. Of course, the last thing before we do so is, if you do support the channel and all the videos, kindly smash that like button. Smash the like button for Wonderfi specifically if you are interested in the company, you do support the company. Regardless, toss me a like if you like my videos. Also, hitting that subscribe button and the bell for notifications on future videos. This is a brand new channel. I look forward to growing this channel, and I like this because we can talk specifically about one company, going more in depth. And in this video, we're going to talk about their recent financial results, the recent share buyback, which I think is a great thing, BitBuy, and all of that other stuff, and what I see, what I see in the future for Wonderfi, because I have been a shareholder pretty much since their IPO, and we've covered the company before their IPO, so it's been an interesting ride. Anyways, let's get into it. First thing I wanted to go to was their website. So I know that you can also, the app is launched now on desktop and hopefully on mobile soon, because I feel like mobile will be the most important. But they did just host Money Goals, so that started up on Instagram Live with Kevin Oleary. And he's got a lot of guests scheduled. Here we have a quick little ad, crypto future giveaway. Join Wonderfi's crypto future contest for a chance to win rare merch and $4,500 in prizes. So you know what? I'm just going to click on that. So there's the prizes. There's all the details. And you can also click enter app. So that is app.wndr.fi. Let's see what else they got going on here for their website, guys. I'm not going to give you the deck, the sales pitch. They do have a video on Yahoo Finance. They're creating their own app, of course, that has officially launched. There's a lot of investor resources. You can find the deck there. It might be not a bad idea to take a look at it. This is their Q4 2021 deck to see, what has changed. But in short form, Wonderfi's mission is to democratize finance through creating better access to decentralized finance, or DeFi. It talks a bit about the market. Now, I quickly want to actually touch on a few points within the deck, but I'm not going to go over the whole thing like I do in my other company introductory videos. So basically, three-pronged approach to their corporate strategy. Wonderfi's app will enable entry-level users to gain exposure to DeFi. They also invest in specific cryptocurrencies and protocols. So Wonderfi holds certain crypto and DeFi assets on its balance sheet and generates yield on those assets. So they hold roughly 15 million, I believe now, in crypto assets. And then their acquisition strategy is a huge part now of the company. So non-organic growth strategy to support growth and expansion of the DeFi sector. And then it just goes on to talk, all about the market and all of that stuff. But I want to focus more specifically on the stock price now and the recent news that we've seen. So as we know, and I want to use these charts from investing.com just because I like the way they look. I haven't really been using investing.com recently, just because I feel like Yahoo Finance's platform is kind of better, not to be like biased or anything, but so we saw Wonderfi IPO I believe it was around like $1.50. I remember the day of, though, it shot all the way up to $2. You can't really see it here on the chart, and then it pulled back. And it pulled back quite substantially, hitting a 52-week low around $1.20. I remember that day. I didn't want to buy it on the IPO, but I kind of waited it out, and I'm happy that I waited it out because I accumulated the majority of my shares around $1.30 and $1.40. Now, of course, watched it run all the way up to almost $3. Didn't take any profits along the way. Sold a tiny chunk of shares. I believe it was just to fund another trade I had going on in the low $2 range. And it was only like a 5,000 share block, so it wasn't too much. And then obviously, we know what happened. It pulled back quite substantially. I added some around 180, thought it was going to consolidate there. And then it fell further down to 130, which I've recently just added a little bit more to it. And that will probably be it. I mean, hopefully nothing catastrophic happens, but I'm hoping to see Wonderfi put in a bottom around here, around $1.20, $1.30. I don't really want to see it go into the 120s, but we're 1 cent away, so anything's possible. With bad market conditions, you could definitely see that happen. Now, we have seen volumes pick up quite substantially. Obviously, shares are priced, a lot less than they were before. So with increased trading volumes and lower share price, that kind of makes sense on a per share basis, not on dollar value basis. But yeah, so let's talk quickly about the news. What has transpired over the last while? What caused the stock to run? Of course, market conditions were a lot better. We saw a lot of hype around the company. It was being promoted, so it makes sense. The stock ran quite substantially. They did raise money. The first round was not as large as the second round. I forget, it was 10 or 20 million. They raised it. I think it was like $1.90. I'd have to double check that. Don't quote me on these numbers, guys, but I'm just giving you the background to Wonderfi so far. And we saw it pull back quite substantially on that initial raise, and then it ran back up all the way up to almost $3. Everything was great. Market volatility hit. Crypto pulled back quite substantially, and we dropped all the way back down to the low twos. In fact, we actually dropped below $2 for a short period of time there, and then kind of bounced back up, keeping it above $2. And then we had a recent rally to, they announced the BitBuy acquisition, which is a tremendous acquisition. I believe it's Canada's first crypto exchange with a couple billion worth of transaction volume. I'm hoping that they record some really nice revenues. The deal hasn't closed yet, but I'm assuming that it's going to close sometime this quarter, most likely next month. That's kind of my guess. We'll see if that happens, but the stock once again did run. And then it ran all the way back to almost $3. And that's when they announced another financing of, initially it was in the 30 millions, and then it got upsized to 45 million at $2.40. So we saw the stock drop quite substantially, of course, on that financing round. We didn't get, so the first financing, we saw a nice pullback, but then it bounced right back up. This financing, we saw a tremendous pullback, and I also think that pullback was due to, tough market conditions, volatility in the crypto space, more risk-off sentiment when it comes to, smaller cap stocks that haven't proved to be profitable. And Wonderfi technically doesn't have revenue right now. I mean, unless we've got some from their crypto assets. Don't quote me on that. I need to do more research, but we will take a look at their press release in terms of their financial numbers. But basically, we have all of that, and then we also have the BitBuy acquisition that, I'm sure, like a lot of long-term Wonderfi bulls, love this BitBuy acquisition. Myself being one of them, I think it totally makes sense in terms of, a user standpoint, growing their users. That's kind of what they want, an exchange and an app working together. We saw what happened with Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX, which Wonderfi is listed on, grew to a multi-billion-dollar valuation. So like the signs are there, and the team, in my opinion, obviously I'm a shareholder, so I'm going to say everything great. The team looks fantastic, which we will talk about in a few minutes, but I just want to continue to give my opinion on Wonderfi and what I think is going on. So of course there's going to be some naysayers, and it's no doubt that there will be many, many shares issued in terms of this BitBuy acquisition. So the financing combined with tough market conditions, combined with maybe potentially some skepticism around the BitBuy acquisition, that could be the reason why the stock has pulled back quite substantially. So what Wonderfi needs to do is, reinstill confidence with, current shareholders, prospective shareholders. Why should I look at Wonderfi versus all the other DeFi companies out there? What makes Wonderfi special? So there's a lot of big names backing this company. So let's get into the details. The first thing, though, I wanted to talk about was, in fact, the news that they put out this week, which actually, I added to my position on this news just because I feel like it is a big show of confidence with the company. Wonderfi announces buyback of up to 7.935 million shares. So some interesting details in this press release. So generally a buyback, says that the company believes in what they're doing. They believe in their business. They want to show, the public that they're willing to spend their own company money buying back their own shares. So they're going to buy back 10% of the public float. I just checked that Wonderfi has just under 75 million shares outstanding. Now, what's going to happen to these shares, which is pretty interesting, any shares purchased under the share buyback program will be canceled. So that will shrink the public float. So it will have a much smaller float. Obviously, then it will take a lot less to move the stock, and there potentially will be a lot less sellers because Wonderfi will buy back up to 10% of their shares. That doesn't mean they're going to buy back all 10%. Personally, I think that they're going to use this buyback to reinstill some confidence, get the share price back up there. Fingers crossed, nothing's certain, and have a little bit more ammunition in these tough market conditions by supporting the share price. So that's my hope. But as a shareholder, this is good news for me. At least I think it is. So I was very happy to see that. Of course, we did have another red day. It was an overall red day on the markets today, anyways. So taking a look at their most recent news, they appointed John Rim as Chief Financial Officer. Now he comes from a company called, they're NASDAQ listed, Bitfarms, very big company. So they continue to build the team, and Ben, their CEO, said, "We're very pleased to welcome John to our growing team at Wonderfi. John's background and experience in finance, leadership, and capital markets, as well as in the crypto industry, will be invaluable to Wonderfi as we continue to grow the company." So definitely excited about that. Now, I just did want to go over their financial results and just a little bit of information about that BitBuy acquisition, because it's obviously, front and center, very significant. And I just want to talk about the terms of the deal. So founded in 2016, has grown to become one of North America's leading crypto marketplaces. So 375,000 users, more than 4.4 billion in transaction volume, or billion transacted through the platform. So let's take a quick look. I know Kevin Oleary is very excited about this. So that's some of the statistics now. 70 million newly issued common shares of Wonderfi, 20 million in cash up front, and 30 million in deferred cash via a vendor take-back note due in 12 months, implying an aggregate transaction value of approximately $206 million. So with that all being said, 70 million newly issued common shares. So Wonderfi buys back 10%, that's 8 million shares. The company will go to 66 odd million shares. And then the share count, once this closes, will double. Now, my assumption is that those shares will be locked up, so I wouldn't expect any big selling right out the gate. But we'll see what happens. And at the time that they did this, shares were trading well over $2, so it wouldn't really make sense for BitBuy to sell their shares regardless. So I'm hoping that this buyback, combined with some more news, combined with some stability in the markets, we can hopefully see a nice recovery for Wonderfi. Now, I quickly want to talk about two more things, their financial results, and I also want to mention that warrants are now trading for Wonderfi. I think they came free trading off that last financing round. So that could have been another thing. I don't exactly know when that last financing round unlocked, but more than likely it was a 4-month hold. That's just my assumption. I'm not sure. but I'd have to double check that. So that could be another reason for a little bit of the selling. And it would kind of make sense. So a lot of people are just freeing up capital right now. So in terms of the financial highlights, this is not including financing. They had 28 million in cash and 11.3 million in crypto assets. Net cash used in operating activities, total cash burn 2.9 million for the quarter. So total loss and comprehensive loss of 5.7 million for the quarter. So this financing added 45 million. That means the company had 80 million in investments, 65 million in cash, 14.5 million in crypto assets and strategic investments. Pardon me, guys. So now let's talk about, so BitBuy closes. 20 million goes to BitBuy. They've got 44.3 million left. At current prices, now, of course, buying back 8 million shares, it's not all going to be at $1.30. So 1.3 times 8 million, we're at 10.4 million. Now, I don't expect the shares to stay at $1.30 if they buy it back aggressively. So let's say they spend between 10 and 20 million on a buyback. So that would leave them with 25 million in cash. Now they do need to pay that 30 million to BitBuy for the rest of the acquisition. So cash is going to be pretty tight. Obviously, the company will probably need to raise more money. So in order to raise more money, I figure that the shares will have to, it's obviously advantageous for the company to get those shares back up there and instill confidence back in the company. Now, don't get me wrong, they also have that 15 million in crypto assets, but I'm pretty sure they're probably going to want to sit on those. But we also have the potential for crypto to run, them to make a return on those assets, and then kind of have enough cash. But long story short, I think this next year is going to be a very important year for Wonderfi, because BitBuy, all being with BitBuy, that needs to close yet, so that's not 100%. But once that closes, we need to see integration. We need to see user growth. We need to see revenue growth, revenue generation. And I really am excited to see how, BitBuy integrates with Wonderfi's app, how that all goes in terms of revenue. What types of revenues are they going to generate? Because it's obvious BitBuy is generating revenues. So yeah, guys, we'll see what happens. I think this is going to be a very interesting and exciting year for Wonderfi with this acquisition. I'm sure they have a lot more in the pipeline too that we don't know of. So, I'm also excited about that. And the last thing I want to talk about quickly was their team. This was one of the main reasons why I got behind the deal and really got excited about the company. And I'm still very excited about the company. So above and beyond their CEO, Ben Shemaru, which is a really nice driven guy, we've got on the board of directors Sean Clark, co-founder and former CEO of Hut 8 Mining, very successful company. Strategic investors, this was what kind of really got me. Of course, we've got Kevin Oleary, well known. Leonard Lachman, he's a very interesting guy, and he was co-founder of MindMed. Do some research on him. Very successful, well-connected guy in the finance world. We've got Josh Richards, a very popular, super popular social media influencer, and also I believe he's a partner at Animal Capital. So super successful for his age, and he has that millennial / forget what it's called, Gen X or YZ, whatever audience, the audience of people in their early 20s who are really interested in investing. He's got that audience at their fingertips, and he does promote Wonderfi from time to time. So and he's also invested into Wonderfi himself. So I think that's pretty cool. And then the icing on the cake, I really think, is Sam Bankman-Fried, crypto billionaire, founder of FTX, grew that to a multi-billion-dollar valuation. And it's obvious that he saw something in Wonderfi. So I'm more so focused on the strategic investors, board of directors. It's nice to have Sean Clark on the board. We did interview Sean Clark before, and then a young, driven CEO like Ben. I think the company has lots of potential. Now, once again, nothing's guaranteed. This is the stock market. There's volatility, and not everything goes according to plan. So we'll see what happens, guys. There was one other thing I wanted to talk about. Then there's some pretty good discussions going on in the Yahoo message board. Just a couple of recent comments. People seem pretty happy about the buyback. I did want to go over a couple of quick comments. So this person said, you know, he was CFO for the Nasdaq-listed Bitfarms and led efforts to get them approved by the OSC. Sounds like Wonderfi are making all the right moves to ensure their success. They're talking about John Rim, the recent CFO. Then we have 30 million in revenue, $3 stock, 100 million in revenue, $10 stock, 1 billion, $100 stock. So I think the 1 billion is pretty advantageous, but 100 million in revenue in this market, in this world, especially in this sector, crypto, DeFi, that's totally doable, I think. Double digits would be incredible. We'll see if that can happen. I think that the first stop would be to getting back to 3. And then one final comment, and that'll be it for the video, guys. Actually, no, we have to look at the we already looked at the financials. Sorry, I'm all over the place here. Almost done. It's been a long week. Kyle says, kind of interesting. On Reddit, the BitBuy account commented on a Toronto Raptors post and said 2 more Kyle Lowry BitBuy commercials are coming. We're more than halfway through Q1, and one of the BitBuy execs is speaking at a conference March 2nd. My guess is that the BitBuy deal will close sometime in the 2nd or 3rd week of March. That gives time to roll out 2 more Lowry commercials too. And what do the replies say? LOL, strapped in, screw the moon. We're going to New Galaxy Eye. So, lots of time to pack as much as we can before liftoff. Wonderfi taking care of its shareholders. I feel confident and grateful to be investing in a company that cares about its share price. So that's regarding the buybacks. So anyways, guys, the volatility has been tough in the markets, but fingers crossed we get some positive price movements in the coming weeks. Now, one final detail actually, and I forgot to add this, but you know, if you're wondering about Wonderfi, when does the buyback start? I believe there's some should be some dates as to when this buyback starts. I believe it's 2 days. So pursuant to the new exchange rules, the period during which the company will be authorized to make purchases under the share buyback program will commence 2 trading days after the date hereof on February 22nd, 2022. So February 22nd, 2022, 2 trading days after. So let's just figure this out. So pursuant to the new exchange rules, a period during which the company will be authorized to make share purchase under the share buyback program will commence 2 trading days after the date hereof on February 22nd and end the earlier of February 22nd. So February 22nd is when the buyback commences. That is this coming Tuesday, because obviously it's a holiday. And you know what, guys? So yeah, we'll see what happens on Tuesday, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. Drop me some comments down below. Let me know your thoughts. That's it for the video. I'm out of here. Best of luck to all the Wonderfi shareholders and any prospective shareholders. I never tell you guys to buy or sell, but you know, Wonderfi might be an interesting company to take a look at. I don't know. This is not financial advice. Don't ever buy or sell a stock because I talked about it. But obviously, I like Wonderfi because I have quite a few shares. So see you guys in our next video. If you like these videos, kindly hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. Drop us a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. And finally, always remember, Departures Capital is for information, education, and entertainment purposes only. Don't buy or sell a stock because you heard it on here. Buy or sell a stock because you've done your research, you've done your thorough due diligence, and you're making your own personal investment decisions for yourself. This video is not financial advice. Furthermore, this video may or may not have been sponsored by the companies that we've profiled within this video, and we may or may not own shares of any of the profiled companies in this video. If you want to know the full disclosure details, check the description down below along with thoroughly reading our disclaimer. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.